Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's now 5 o'clock, and we'll begin our Committee of Adjustment meeting for the month of January. For everyone's information, we will generally deal with each application according to the order of the agenda. Extra copies are available at the back table. Anyone present who wishes to speak in support or against an application, as well as anyone with questions or concerns, will have an opportunity to speak. The committee will make their decision following each application. If there's anyone present who is not an applicant or an agent, but is interested in the decision of the committee, you may file your interest with our Secretary Treasurer. Please list the file number, your full name, and mailing address. Copies of the decisions are automatically sent to the applicant and agent within 15 days of today's meeting. Only the applicant, the minister, a specified person, or any public body may appeal decisions in respect to applications for consent or minor variances to the Ontario Land Tribunal. The decisions are final if there are no appeals 20 days after the committee's decision. May I please remind everyone that we're being recorded. To mute your devices, as well as if you wish to speak to an application, please make your way to the podium, ensure the mic was on, state your name, first and last name for the public record. Okay, so the first order of business is to determine if any members have any disclosures of interest when considering any of the applications that we're dealing with today. Anyone? Okay. Hearing none, have all the members received the minutes of the previous meeting? Are there any errors or omissions? If not, can I get a mover and a seconder to adopt December's meeting minutes?
I'll move to approve.
Tim, thank you. Seconded by Bill, thank you. All in favor? And I see Linda.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, our first application to be considered is file number ANPL 2023330. The name of Jennifer Caterino, and the planner can give the report, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Through the chair, an application has been received to facilitate a detached additional residential dwelling unit, or ARDU, requiring relief of 70.5 square meters from the maximum permitted usable floor area of 75 square meters to permit a total usable floor area of 145.5 square meters and 1.2 meters from the maximum permitted height of 5 meters for a detached ARDU to permit a total height of 6.2 meters. Excuse me. The subject lands are located on the western side of Remulan Road, northeast of Forestville. It is zoned and designated agriculture, has a lot area of approximately 11.5 acres and a frontage onto Remulan Road of approximately 132 meters. A previously built building has been brought onto the site to form the ARDU and will be placed on top of a new basement and foundations. The proposal will facilitate the development of ARDU, which is accessory to the existing single detached dwelling. It is staff's opinion that the proposed application meets the intent of the Planning Act, the PPS, and the official plan. Both the existing dwelling and the proposed ARDU are permitted under the agricultural bylaws. The zoning provisions for an ARDU in any zone are the same: up to 75 square meters of usable floor area, located within 40 meters of the host dwelling, and a maximum height of 5 meters. The proposed ARDU would require relief for both height and usable floor area. Unfortunately, the calculations of usable floor area provided were incorrect and did not account for the proposed unfinished basement. Given the ceiling height in this area, it would form part of the usable floor area. As such, the proposed building could not be built as proposed if approved with this incorrect usable floor area. Building would not issue a permit as it would not match their planning permission. As such, it will be necessary to refer this file so that the correct usable floor area can be advertised through the public notification process and brought back to the Committee of Adjustment for a decision. It should be noted that the deficiency is increasing the usable floor area. Were it decreasing, we could have put it forward for a determination this evening. In summary, it's the professional opinion of staff that the proposed development does not meet the overall intent and purpose of the zoning bylaws and should be referred for amendments. For transparency, even were the zoning calculations correct, Staff would not support this file as the overage is in usable floor area cannot be considered minor. So to reiterate, staff would recommend that this file be referred. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there an agent or applicant present or on the line? Any questions of the committee to the planner? Is there any person that wishes to speak to this application present or online? Again, I'll ask if there is an agent or applicant present or online. Hearing none, the wishes of the committee are?
Through the chair, I move to refer.
Refer?
Refer.
Okay. So Tim moves to refer. And a seconder?
I'll second that.
Phil, thank you. So file number ANPL 2023330, name of Jennifer Caterino. The application has been moved to be referred back to planning staff. All in favor? That's carried. Oh, Linda?
Yes.
Sorry. Okay,
Yep.
thank you. Sorry, forgot about you almost. We need another new stamp still in this. So we're scratching that. No, just a minute. Not so fast. Okay. So next up is file number BNPL 2023140, name of Craig Young, and the planner can give the report, please.
Thank you, Chairman. I'll just apologize in advance. I've been speaking all day long and my voice is really starting to go. Through the chair, an application has been received to sever a parcel having a frontage of 30.4 meters, a width of 90 meters, a depth of 100 meters, and having an area of 4,572 square meters, and retain a parcel having an area of 78 acres. As a boundary adjustment. Lands to be added to existing residential lot located immediately adjacent to the west of 1946 East Quarter Line Road. Final lot size would be 2.28 acres. This file has been before you in the past. It was referred in order to allow the applicant time to seek further legal advice and to show that adverse possession could be a legal or technical reason for the boundary adjustment. As previously stated, adverse possession is not an opinion that can be given by myself, Committee of Adjustment, Council, or even the county. It is a legal declaration and beyond the remit of the county to determine. An affidavit was submitted which stated the date the pool was completed. This helps to some degree, but as also previously discussed, if adverse possession was legally shown, the applicant would not need a boundary adjustment, just a legal merger on title. If adverse possession is not shown, there is no legal justification for a boundary adjustment. As such, it is the professional opinion of staff that this file must be refused as it requires a legal judgment to be made, which is beyond the remit of Norfolk County and the Planning Act. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there an applicant or agent present? Okay, we'll get to you in a second. Does the committee have any questions of the planner? No? Does the agent or applicant have anything to add? Just hit the red button on the right.
Yeah.
Just your name for the record.
Sorry, Craig Young.
Thanks, Craig.
So I thought the request through the email was to get an affidavit to confirm the timeline, so to show that it was prior to 1997, which is what we had done. And I thought that's what the request was for us to do. And when you had a legal opinion from your lawyer, they said there's likely an adverse possession case here due to the timelines. So I thought you were looking for proof that the timeline was prior to 97, which is what we provided.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I mean, what we had been presented with was the idea that, and I believe you had the legal opinion that there could be a case for adverse possession. We sought a legal opinion on that. They agreed there could be a case, but that was based on the legal opinion that your lawyers got. We didn't have any evidence to provide to our lawyers about anything. And again, you have to remember these are legal opinions. So really, for adverse possession, it is a judgment. It is not an opinion. It is not a, it could be this, therefore, it is a very specific legal determination. And without the determination, there's not really a legal justification. We wanted the evidence, excuse me, sorry. We wanted some level of evidence to see whether or not that could help with establishing a legal justification. So hence the affidavit. And ultimately, it would be up to the members of committee whether or not they consider that to be sufficient legal justification. As a planner, and with my due diligence and my professional ethics and requirements, I still couldn't say that it is, but I have been able to add that additional information sort of to the presentation that has gone out to members in terms of the report. So as I say, it's never been an open and shut sort of issue. And all the way along, we've been saying, this is a judgment. This is not something that is an opinion or that can be determined at county level. It is a judicial decision, a judicial judgment that needs to be made. And if it's truly there as adverse possession, it's a merger. You just need a legal merger on title. You don't need a boundary adjustment.
So, okay, so I thought when we went through this a couple months ago, you spoke to the lawyer. Lawyer said, yeah, we need some sort of clarification, which we've done. I understand that you can't provide a ruling on it, but we went through this and you had said about going to court. We said there is no legal ability to put this in with the two parties that we have here because there's no conflict. Because the timeline, we've decided not to put it into court. So there can't be a judgment put on it was the issue last time. So what my understanding was is they know that there's a legal reasoning behind it because the Land Titles Act says 97 or earlier. The timeline is 96. And they can't put it into court because there can't be a court submitted because there's no conflict. And that's where we were saying before, the only thing, the only person we can take to court to get a legal response out of would be with the county going against the Land Titles Act. There's nobody else to go against. Meanwhile, like I said, the lawyer said due to the timelines, it makes sense. And the timeline is confirmed.
Right. But it's still not, it's a merger. So it's a different process altogether. It's not what this committee looks at.
Then what do you
It's
need?
not a boundary adjustment.
So then how do we do that then? Because all the legal issues are there and that all lines up. How do we go about doing that then?
Well, that's you have to take that up with the planning department with a different application but it sounds to me that it's out of the realm of the county. It's more like Andrew says, it's a judicial issue. We're not lawyers here that we can't make that kind of a judgment. We can only go by the application that's in front of us. Mohammed.
Through Mr. Chair. So right now, the file we have with us is the boundary adjustment. And for the boundary adjustment on an agricultural land, we need a legal reason. So that fails. The other option probably would be, if the committee recommended refusal, then the other option would be the applicant will work with the planner to see if there is any other planning applications can address that. But at this moment, probably it would be premature to say anything if it can be possible or not.
Okay. Does any member of the committee have any questions of the applicant? Is there anyone present or online that wishes to speak to this application? I'll give you one last stab at it. I think we've heard all the evidence that we can hear in not only this today, but in the previous 2 visits with this application. So anything else to add?
Well, again, I guess I completely misunderstood what we were going after here, because I thought you were looking for a timeline to prove the timeline that matches up with the Land Titles Act. So I thought that's what you're doing. I thought, since you'd already spoke to your lawyer, that was what you were looking for, to have it proven, I guess, is what I thought you were looking for. So do you need something from your lawyer confirming that that's the route to go? Because I mean, the only other option, I guess, by what you're telling me, is that we have to go to court to deal with it. But I would think you would speak to the lawyer, which is already, I don't know what to say there, actually, because your lawyer's already said that they expected that there was a case there.
Andrew?
Yes, I mean, we're all in agreement that there could be a case there. The reality is, though, it's not for us to decide if there's a case there. It's not a county matter, it's a legal matter.
So do you need direction from your lawyer?
Our lawyers cannot give us direction. We can take their opinions. They will have opinions. But again, the opinion we had was based on no evidence. It was based on, yes, it was done at this point. Yes, it was done at this point. But that was ostensibly hearsay. It was anecdotal. There was no evidence presented to us.
I thought that's what I was providing that to you for.
Hence, I was trying to see if there was any kind of evidence we could pull together that could maybe call into doubt, excuse me, whether or not there could be some sort of legal justification for doing this. And so, we got the affidavit, looked at it, and it's still within the Planning Act, what I can look at in terms of the Planning Act, it didn't result in what I would have considered to be a legal or a technical reason still.
Okay.
So if your lawyer said that that's a legal reason because it matches what's up with the Ontario Land Titles, has the affidavit been given to the lawyer to let him know that that's the timeline?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But again, lawyers are a legal opinion. One affidavit is great, but as we've said, each meeting, a determination of adverse possession, which is what you want to use as the legal justification for doing a boundary adjustment.
Okay.
That is not an opinion. That's not just a collection of evidence. It is a judgment ruling. So it has nothing to do with the county. And if you had a judgment ruling that says there is adverse possession, you don't need a boundary adjustment. It would just be a merger on title, a legal merger. So, as Mohammed says, at this stage, in terms of what can be done for a boundary adjustment through the Committee of Adjustment, I don't think that we are at that stage. I am certainly happy to do some research and see if there's another planning route through one or two other application types that might allow us to do this. But at this stage, the fact that the judgment is challenging because there's no disagreement between the parties isn't a county matter. It isn't a planning matter. That's a civil legal matter. And so it's also beyond the remit of the council.
Oh, okay.
So
I think we've heard everything that can be said. So we'll move on. And what are the wishes of the committee? So the wishes of the committee don't appear to be anything, and we can't have that. So we need some guidance here from the committee as to what way they want to go.
So just a quick question. So you're saying unless there's a judgment, that's the only way that this can go through, even though it matches Ontario Land Titles Act. That's what you're saying. So I can't, there's the only, like I said, the only person that can go to court is us. to do that. But even if your lawyer says, yeah, that makes sense. However, you know what I'm saying? It seems like we're kind of running in a circle. That's what I'm.
I think I'll
And I-
defer to Mohammed as the senior planner here to,
I have a question, Alan.
hang on, Linda, we'll get back to you.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
As I mentioned, I mean, right now, the application we have in our hand is the boundary adjustment, and we are assessing this boundary adjustment application based on the legal reasons. And Andrew already mentioned the reasoning for the recommendation of refusal. The other options, we have to go back and look at if there's any other options from planning. I don't see any other, I mean, from planners, we don't have probably any other suggestions other than that. Any legal route needs to be done through the legal consultation.
So another referral is not really,
I don't think
accomplish,
there'll
it's not
be
going
any
to
merit
accomplish
on
anything.
that. No, the recommendation will be probably the same.
Right. We'll just end up back where we are. Okay. Linda?
Okay, so I'm just a kind of a question, or not really a question to the applicant, but perhaps he could check with his lawyer. I don't think you need someone to oppose your adverse possession. You just need to, I don't know for sure, I'm not a lawyer, but you would make an application to the court to rule on that. And if it's uncontested, I think there would be no reason why the court wouldn't make that judgment. So I'm not sure you actually need somebody to oppose it or you need to sue somebody. It's just an application to the court for a judgment. So you could check that with your lawyer. And then my question then to planning staff is if they were to make an application to the court to get a judgment, can we defer this application until, like, what's the deferral process? Can we defer it indefinitely until they have a judgment, or defer it for 6 months, or what's that process?
Andrew?
Through the chair to Linda. In a way, there'd be no point in deferral because if the judgment found that it was adverse possession, he doesn't need a boundary adjustment. It's literally a merger on title. He owns that land because the judgment has said it's adverse possession. And therefore, excuse me, to join two pieces of adjacent land together, it's a legal merger if they're in the same ownership. And then if the judgment was contrary to it, it would just be putting off a refusal for 6 months because we still would be exactly in the same place we are now. So that's, I mean, again, it is an option for you, but I'm really not sure that there's any benefit at all because one way he doesn't need the boundary adjustment at all. And the other way we have to refuse it. We're in the same place.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Okay.
Linda, go ahead.
But if he went to court and got the application, the judgment, my concern is back to the land titles office and what they might require, and they may, it's sort of like those properties that have merged on title. I'm just wondering if they might require something from Norfolk County or from the committee. So deferring it might be a route to go is all I'm thinking. Because we don't know 100% for sure what the land titles, if the judgment was in his favor, what they would require to clean it up or whatever for their records. That's my concern.
Okay. Thank you. Mohammed?
In regard to that, if there is any legal judgment was established, that will be based on the area of the adverse possession, which might not be necessarily exactly same as the boundary adjustment was proposed. As I see, I mean, in the boundary adjustment, some access of land has been asked for the boundary adjustment, like to the north side and south side, which might not be the case if it goes to the legal procedure. It will be based on exactly what is the land is considered as adverse possession. So the area of boundary adjustment in any way will not be probably same as it is proposed here. So I don't see that even if an adverse position is established through the legal process, it might not be not exactly same what is proposed here.
Thank you. Okay, what are the wishes of the committee?
Well, my
mic.
wish would,
Sorry, turn your mic on, Phil.
Based on both of those discussions, then I would suggest that we defer. I'm always getting these mixed up. Put it off until he's had a chance to go through that. If there is anything that has to be adjusted at that point, like there's a little bit extra that wasn't included or any of that kind of stuff, it can come back then without going through the process again.
Okay, yeah. Let me ask this question then, Mohammed, to you. If it was referred or deferred and he went through the judicial process and was ruled in favor, this application could just be pulled and it would be dead in the water? Because it wouldn't be necessary?
So, I mean, we cannot defer or refer an application for indefinite period of time. Probably you have to provide some direction on that. And also you have planning and timeline requirements. We need to finish it, I mean, within the timelines, and definitely we pass the timelines.
Can we put a timeline on it?
I don't think committee can provide a timeline, which is
Okay.
already provided by Planning Act.
Okay. Linda, did you have something else to?
well, I guess then what would ever be the purpose of deferring any application? Like, I would like to defer it, not refer it, but defer it.
So is that a motion you're putting on the floor?
I'm putting a motion on the floor to defer it.
Okay. Can I get a seconder to that motion? Phil? Hannah, sure.
Hi, thank you. Just for clarification on the decision, if it is a deferral, a specific date will be needed, I believe.
Did you want to put a date to your deferral, Linda?
I would, yeah, sure. I would say, what's today's date? January
17th of January.
A
So,
specific committee date.
We have too
Pardon?
many mics on here. Sorry, go
So
ahead.
I would say defer it for 3 months and give the applicant time to make an application to the court.
So to Mr. Chair, my suggestion, I mean, before you defer to a certain period of time, you also need to know what will be the time period for the legal process. At this time, I'm not sure if you have any specific time period that you can assume that it can be done within that, for example, 3 months.
Well,
So I'm struggling to understand how a specific time, providing a specific time can, address this issue.
Committee member Linda is giving a time frame of 90 days to give the applicant a chance to go to the courts and explore his options there. And that's kind of the way we're heading, I guess, now, right? And so a deferral for 90 days, and if he finds that he needs more time, I guess he can come back and ask for an extension, maybe? I don't know.
Through the chair, just noting my understanding is a deferral will be no changes to the application. It's just waiting a specific date, and a referral with the R will be that there are anticipated changes to the application. So if the instruction from committee is that they're anticipating a change to the nature of the application, so for example, a judgment through the court system, then might I suggest a referral?
Okay,
Just to outline and create transparency. That's all, thanks.
okay. Linda, did you want to change that to your motion to a referral? We seem to get tied up in these terminologies lately on the one or the other.
Well, the referral hasn't seemed to be working at all. So no, I don't really want to change it. And I'm thinking if he's successful with the judgment, it's a technical reason, then we can approve the application. So I would like to stick, and maybe 3 months isn't enough time to get it into the court, but if it's not opposed, maybe it is enough time. I don't know. He'd have to check with his lawyer, but I'm sticking with my motion to defer it for 90 days or 3 months to come back to the committee.
Okay, Tim?
Through the chair to planning, you did mention that if it went back to your desks, you would try to help them find maybe another legal reason as well if this isn't what is. So with a referral, you're able to do that. With a deferral, you're not, correct?
That's correct. Mohammed?
Again, sorry, Mr. Chair, again, what I said earlier, just trying to explain that right now the boundary adjustment that is showing as proposed will probably not be similar if he's successful to get a adverse possession. Right now, we have an excess of area that is requested for a boundary adjustment. So in any way, if the applicant is successful through the legal process, the boundary adjustment would be different than what it is proposed now. So deferral will not work. In that case, a referral needs to be processed.
Okay.
However, my
Go ahead,
opinion
Linda.
is that if he's successful in the adverse possession judgment, the committee can still approve the boundary adjustment as it's proposed. So it may not change.
We're getting some nods of disagreement, but anyway, go ahead, Andrew.
Thank you, Chairman. Through the chair, I think the main issue, though, is that A, the application in front of us, as it stands, has no legal justification. Because it's been referred twice, it's well over its statutory timeframe as set out by the Planning Act. There's no, at this stage, justification for continuing the process in anticipation of what might happen or what could happen. As I've said, I will see if there is another planning route that could be followed. However, even if it came back in 3 months with a judgment, it's unlikely because we've not had applications requiring a legal merger. People just legally merge. I can't say that it's never going to happen, but I've never seen an application that the land registry requires a boundary adjustment to allow a legal merger of contiguous lands. So at that stage, if there was a judgment in favor, there's no need for this. As Mohammed has said, they may also find perhaps the northwestern side qualifies, but the southeastern side doesn't. It may not be able to be proven that the lawn on along the southern boundary qualified for adverse possession. So what we have is an application we can't approve in 3 months' time because it's incorrect. It doesn't match the judgment. The judgment will only allow X, Y, and Z. So there would still be no legal justification to include land that was excluded by a legal judgment. Again, that is beyond the remit of the council and the county, let alone the Committee of Adjustment. So at the very minimum, we would need a referral so that we could adapt the plans as required to bring them back to match the judgment. we can't really do that with a deferral. You'll get exactly this back. I will be saying, well, they said yep to the northeast section, no to the southeast section. We have to refuse it. And we're still in the exact same position. So I think, in my professional opinion, I would suggest that a line is drawn. We can try and find another solution through the planning system if there is one. But otherwise, this is a legal civil matter, not a planning matter at this stage. It is beyond a planning matter. So I do not see any benefit to a deferral or even a referral. But if we were going to pause it again and completely ignore statutory timelines in the Planning Act, then it would have to be a referral so that we could amend it down the road if necessary.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor anyway of a deferral that's seconded. So it's an active motion. We can debate this some more if you need to, or we can call the question and put it to a vote, and then we can proceed from there. Okay? Any other discussion on the motion? I'll call the question. No, I can't. I'll call the question. So file number BNPL 2023-140 in the name of Craig Young. We have a motion on the floor to defer, moved by Tim. No, I'm sorry, moved by Linda, seconded by Phil. All those in favor? That motion appears, so you're voting for, Linda?
Yeah, I'm in favor.
Okay, that motion is defeated. So what are the wishes of the committee now? Turn your mic on.
I'll make a motion to refer.
Phil makes a motion to refer with or without a timeline.
Is it required? No.
No, okay.
So
Sorry?
Through the chair, there'll need to be a direction to staff on the reason for the referral and decision.
Okay. Do you have a reason for referral?
I was going to say Andrew was going to look at alternatives, but I just want to prevent them from having to go through the whole application process.
Well, I think we could safely say the reason for referral gives the applicant an opportunity to explore the court option, and also give staff time to do any further research that may be prudent. Okay? That'll work? Okay, so Phil moves a referral for what I just said. Can I get a seconder, please?
I'll second.
Tim seconds. So any debate on that motion? Discussion? I'll call the question. All those in favor of a referral? Linda? I can't see your hand.
Yes. Yep.
Is that a yes? Okay.
Yes.
That motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. And so that's a referral. Okay.
So just a quick question again. So even with a direction from the lawyer saying that the county can't take the direction from the lawyer, it has to be a judgment, even if your lawyer is recommending that there's information and timelines and all that are there. So I guess I'm saying if you have an opinion from your lawyer that says it should go through, you can't do that even without a judge.
I think most of these are questions for your lawyer. Yeah. You need, turn your mic on.
It was more the fact that your lawyer had already mentioned that there was likely a case there, and when we proved a timeline, which he didn't know at the time, then they would say,
Okay, well,
that's where I was going with
I
it.
think we've hashed it out pretty good here tonight. And I think, you need to have us to have a conversation with your lawyer, your counsel. Okay, so we shall move on now. File number BNPL 2023-341, Paul and Denise Moyart. And the planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, an application has been received to sever a parcel having a frontage approximately of 62 meters, a width of approximately 57 meters, and a regular depth ranging from 50 to 76 meters, and having an area of 3,637 square meters, and retain a parcel having an area of 10.2 hectares or 25.2 acres as a technical severance for an existing lot of record. The subject lands are located east of the intersection of 5th Concession Road, ENR, and Lower Side Road, and are occupied by a single detached dwelling. The lands are designated and zoned agricultural in Norfolk County's official plan and zoning bylaw, respectively. A memorandum providing additional information on the site and purpose of the application was included in the submission to planning staff, and that's included as attachment 2 to my report. Both the memorandum and comment received by the Realty Services Department outlines in greater detail the technical nature of the application. The subject lands are an existing lot of record, which were approved to be severed in 1986 through file number B-002/86-N. An error was made when the reference plans 37R2394 and 37R11069 were created in 1986 and 2018, respectively, which describes the subject lands in its relation to an unopened road allowance owned by Norfolk County. This requirement or this proposal has been triggered through the application by the owners of the subject lands and the abutting parcel to Norfolk County to close and convey the unopened road allowance. Realty Services is working with the applicant solicitor to close and convey Part 3 on Plan 37R 11688 per Council's direction. Having reviewed the proposal, it's my opinion the subject application is consistent with the policies of the provincial policy statement and conforms to the official plan as it relates to consents to sever policy in the agricultural designation on the basis it is a technical severance to correct a deed and does not result in the creation of a new lot. I'm just recommending support or approval for this application, subject to the conditions. I'm available for questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there an agent or applicant present or online?
Okay, where are we here? Yes, Dave Rowe. I'm the agent
Okay,
online. Yep.
okay, Dave, thanks. So I'll get back to you. Any questions of the committee to the planner? Okay, Dave, anything to add?
No, I spelled everything out in the my addendum to the application, and have been working with the county's realty department and the applicant's lawyers to resolve this error that was made back in 1986. So other than that, I don't have anything further to add. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone present that wishes to speak to this application or online? Anything further of the committee to either the applicant or the planners? The wishes of the committee are?
Through the chair, I move to approve.
Tim moves to approve. Seconded by Lisa. File number BNPL 2023341, Paul and Denise Moyart. I hope I have that right. The application is consistent with the provincial policy statement, complies with the policies of the Norfolk County official plan regarding the technical severance within the agricultural designation, meets the intent of the zoning bylaw, and that no public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All those in favor? And Linda, your hand is up.
Yes. Yep.
Thank you, and that's carried unanimously. And it's approved. Okay, so next up is ANPL 2023-368-1000206-338 Ontario Inc. And the planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, an application has been received to seek relief from zoning bylaws prohibiting vehicle parking in the required front yard to allow for the total of 29 parking spaces permitted through bylaw 4Z 2022 and from section 3.10B to allow a balcony 3 meters from the rear yard boundary. The subject lands are located on the western side of Norfolk Street North within the R4 zone of Simcoe. It has frontage on both Norfolk Street North and 2nd Ave. This application is required to allow for the site layout and minor balcony changes, which required approval after the approval of the site plan application SPPL 2023-227 to allow for the erection of a block of stacked townhouses. The site is accessed from 2nd Ave. The proposed development on this site has been evaluated through both a ZBA and site plan process and was found to meet the intent of the Planning Act, the PPS, and the official plan. This minor additional amendment would not change this position. Relief is sought to allow the relocation of a previously approved balcony to avoid overlooking of the neighboring site and would have a 3-meter rear yard setback. Currently, a total of 29 parking spaces permitted through a bylaw were approved, but the conflict with zoning bylaws which prevent vehicle parking spaces in the required front yard was not explicitly addressed through the site plan process. The need for parking on new residential developments is high, and given the constraints of the site, both in terms of lot area and shape, it is staff's opinion that the requested relief from both the rear yard setback and front yard parking can be considered minor and reasonable. It is staff's opinion that proposed development meets the overall intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw, and this file is recommended for approval. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there an agent or applicant present, Mary? Okay. Is there any questions of the committee to the planner? Does the agent have anything to add? No? Thanks, Mary. Is there anyone present or online that wishes to speak to this application? Hearing none, the wishes of the committee are?
I'll move to approve.
Linda, thank you.
I'll second that.
Phil seconds. File number AMPL 2023-368 1000-206-338 Ontario Inc. In accordance with Section 45(1) of the Planning Act, the requested relief is considered appropriate for the proposed development. Minor in nature, maintains the general intent of the official plan and the zoning bylaw. No public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Unanimously. Okay, moving on. File number BNPL 2023-273 Ann Fan and Lan Koch. I'm not sure. I hope I have that close. The planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, an application has been received to sever a parcel having the following approximate dimensions: a frontage of 66 meters, a width of 68 meters, depth of 99 meters, an area of 0.66 hectares, and retain a parcel having an area of 17.8 hectares as the severance of a dwelling made surplus through farm amalgamation. The consent application is being reviewed concurrently with the zoning amendment for the retained lands to remove a single detached dwelling as a permitted use in the agricultural zone, as we do with all surplus farm severances. The subject lands are designated and zoned agricultural, located east of the intersection of Barbers Lane and Concession 10 Townsend. The lands to be severed are occupied by a single detached dwelling, and the lands to be retained are occupied by a barn, 4 kilns, and a chicken coop, which is stated to be removed, and condition number 4 has been added to reflect this consideration. A site visit by staff and further corresponds with the applicant determined that there is currently no well in the lands to be severed. The existing well is currently, so each lot is accessed through an individual separate driveway. I just want to make note for page 2 of my report, I just noticed a small error that I made. The third paragraph outlines some reasons for justification provided by the applicant regarding the lot configuration. This is drafted to reflect an earlier iteration of the proposal. So just to clarify, it notes that a portion of the subject lands are west of the tree line. That has since been changed. The lot to be proposed is wholly within that tree line. So I just want to clarify that was an error on my part. So apologies for that piece. With that said, section 2.3.4 of the provincial policy statement and section 723 and 9632 of the official plan provide guidance on surplus farm dwelling severances. As outlined more fully in my report, it's my opinion that the proposal meets the intent of these policies with the attached conditions, and no deficiency in the zoning bylaw has been identified by staff. So with that said, I'm recommending this application for approval with the attached conditions and am available for questions. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there an agent or applicant present? Mary again. Okay, thank you. Any questions of the committee to the planner? Does the agent have anything to add? Not at this time. Thank you, Mary. Any questions of the committee to the agent? Is there anyone present or online that wishes to speak to this application? Hearing none, the wishes of the committee are?
I'll move to approve.
Phil moves to approve. And a seconder? Tim seconds. So file number BNPL 2023273 in the name of Ann Fan and Lan Koch. The application is consistent with the provincial policy statement, complies with the policies of the Norfolk County official plan regarding the creation of a lot in an agricultural area, meets the intent of the zoning bylaw. No public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All those in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. And approved. This is the beat. Okay, and next up is file number ANPL 2023209, Adam Reed, and the planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, an application has been received for to provide relief of 3.3 meters in height to allow for an ARDU with a height of 8.3 meters, 23.42 square meters in usable floor area for accessory buildings to allow for a total of 123 square meters, and 23 square meters to allow for an ARDU with a usable floor area of 98.42 square meters. The subject lands are located on the western side of Cockshut Road to the very northern end of Renton. The site is largely within the Hamlet residential zone and designation, with the front third of the property within the hazard lands. The location of the proposed outbuilding is fully within the Hamlet residential section of the subject lands. The lot has an area of approximately 0.7 acres with a frontage of 39 meters on Cockshut Road and a lot depth of 82 meters. There is an existing detached single-story dwelling on the lot, as well as an existing accessory shed. The subject application would facilitate the construction of a detached garage workshop with an ARDU above. Given that this is accessory to the lawful use of the land, the proposal is in line with the intent of the Planning Act, the PPS, and the official plan. Given the location of the proposed garage and ARDU within the application lands, and given the size of the subject lands, the requested relief in height and usable floor area is considered both minor and appropriate in this instance. The proposal would have no detrimental impact on any existing residential amenities and would be accessory to the main dwelling. The proposed garage workshop and ARDU would comply with all other provisions of the relevant zoning bylaws in terms of setbacks. Staff are of the opinion that this complies with the four tests in terms of being appropriate and minor and conforms to the intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw. And as such, this file is recommended for approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there an agent or applicant present or on the line? Does the committee have any questions of the planner? Is there anyone present or online that wishes to speak to this application? Any of the wishes of the committee are?
Lisa moves to approve.
Lisa moves to approve. Thank you. And a seconder?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Linda. So file number ANPL 2023209 in the name of Adam Reed. In accordance with Section 45(1) of the Planning Act, the requested relief is considered appropriate for the proposed development, minor in nature, maintains the general intent of the official plan and the zoning bylaw, and that no public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Okay, so next up we have file number ANPL 2023-311 in the name of Keith Rundle, and the planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, an application has been received for a minor variance seeking relief of 7.3% in lot coverage to allow a lot coverage of 22.3% and of 5.23 meters in front yard setback to allow a front yard setback of 0.77 meters in the resort residential zone. The subject lands are located on the west side of Ordnance Avenue within the resort residential zone of Turkey Point. The lot has an area of just under 1,400 square meters, a frontage of just under 14 meters onto Ordnance Ave, and a depth of 101 meters. The existing front porch leaves an existing non-conforming front yard setback of 1.28 meters and an existing lot coverage of 22.1%. The subject application is to facilitate the enclosure of the existing front porch on lands designated resort residential within a current vacation home use. This is a typical feature of Ordnance Avenue and would not be jarring with the streetscape. It is staff's opinion that the proposed development would meet the intent and purpose of the Planning Act, the PPS, and the official plan. Relief is sought for 5.23 meters in front yard setback to allow a front yard setback of 0.77 meters and relief of 7.3% in lot coverage to allow for a lot coverage of 22.3%. As noted, the existing front yard setback is only 1.28 meters, currently legally non-conforming, and the site has an existing legally non-conforming lot coverage of 22.1%. As such, the requested additional relief in both front yard setback and lot coverage is minor. It has been determined that the level of relief sought for usable floor area and front yard setback meet the overall intent and purpose of the zoning bylaws, and as such, this file is recommended for approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there an agent or applicant present or online? No. Does the committee have any questions of the planner? Is there anyone present or online that wishes to speak to this application? No. And the wishes of the committee are?
I'll move to approve.
Linda, thank you. And
I'll
Tim?
second.
Thank you. So file number ANPL 2023-311 in the name of Keith Rundle. In accordance with Section 45(1) of the Planning Act, the requested relief is considered appropriate for the proposed development, minor in nature, maintains the general intent of the official plan and the zoning bylaw. No public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All in favor? And that is carried unanimously. Well, next up, we have file number ANPL 2023-313 in the name of Darren and Stacy Thompson, and the planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, an application has been received to permit relief of 4.1% in lot coverage to allow a lot coverage of 19.1% and 5.43 meters in front yard setback to allow for a 0.57 meter front yard in order to allow the raising of an existing non-complying vacation home. The subject lands are located on the northern side of Woodstock Avenue to the east of the junction with Conductor Avenue within the resort residential zone of Long Point. The lot backs onto Erie Boulevard, has an area of 529 square meters, a frontage onto Woodstock Ave of 15.24 meters, and a depth of 34.7 meters. The current cottage has a 13.9% lot coverage and an existing legally non-conforming front yard setback of 1.66 meters. The subject application will facilitate the raising and reconstruction of an existing single detached vacation home. Given this is within line of the lawful use of the land, it is the staff's opinion that the proposed application would meet the intent of the Planning Act, the PPS, and the official plan. Relief is sought for a significant reduction in front yard setback to allow a front yard setback of 0.57 meters relief and relief of 4.1% in lot coverage. As noted, the existing front yard setback is currently only 1.66 meters and legally non-conforming, and the site has an existing lot coverage of 13.9%. As such, the requested relief in both front yard setback and lot coverage can be considered to be quite minor. It has been determined that the level of relief sought for usable floor area and front yard setback meet the overall intent and purpose of the zoning bylaws. The proposal meets, and this file is recommended for approval. I apologize, I doubled up on what I was saying. So I'm here for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there an agent or applicant present or online?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Nicole McDowell, and I'm acting as the agent on behalf of the homeowner or cottage owners, and I'm the designer of the proposed cottage lift.
Okay, thank you. Is there any questions of the committee to the planner? Does the applicant or agent have anything to add?
I don't, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the agent? Is there anyone present that wishes to speak, present or online, that wishes to speak to this application? Hearing none, the wishes of the committee are?
I'll move to approve.
Phil moves to approve.
I'll second that.
Tim seconds. So file number ANPL 2023-313 in the name of Darren and Stacy Thompson. In accordance with section 45(1) of the Planning Act, the requested relief is considered appropriate for the proposed development. Minor in nature, maintains the general intent of the official plan and the zoning bylaw. No public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All in favor? And that is carried unanimously. And approved. Okay, so next up is file number ANPL 2023-282, Ross and Leona Hari. And the planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, an application has been received to convert an existing deck into a sunroom, requiring relief of 2.11 meters from the required rear yard setback of 6 meters to permit a rear yard setback of 3.89 meters. Because the requested relief would further facilitate the property's residential use and is in keeping with the character of the neighborhood, it is a professional opinion of staff that the proposed development meets the overall intent and purpose of the Planning Act, the PPS, and the official plan. Relief is sought to enclose the porch, which would result in a rear yard setback deficiency of 2.11 meters. Given there are no dwellings to the rear and the urban boundary of Simcoe shares this rear boundary, the deficiency would not result in any harm to existing residential amenities of any neighboring dwellings. And as such, it is staff's opinion that the proposed development meets the overall intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw and recommends this file for approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there an agent or applicant? Dave? Any questions of the committee to the planner? Does the agent have anything to add? The agent is in full agreement with the planner, for the record, because he wouldn't stand up to the podium. But I'm just putting it on the public record that he is in full agreement. Okay, thank you. Any questions of the committee to the agent? Okay, no, thank you. Is there anyone present or online that wishes to speak to this application? Hearing none, the wishes of the committee are?
Lisa moves to approve.
Lisa moves to approve. Thank you.
I'll second that.
And Tim seconds. So file number AMPL 2023-282, Ross and Leona Ari. In accordance with section 45(1) of the Planning Act, the requested relief is considered appropriate for the proposed development, minor in nature, maintains the general intent of the official plan and the zoning bylaw, and that no public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. Okay, and next up is file number AMPL 2023-327 in the name of Donald Hauko. And the planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, an application has been received to construct a new detached additional residential dwelling unit, or ADU, requiring relief of 2.03 meters from the maximum permitted height for a detached ADU of 6 meters, for a total height of 8.03 meters and 29 square meters of relief from the maximum permitted usable floor area of 75 square meters to permit a total usable floor area of 104 square meters. Subject lands are located near the intersection of Cockshut Road and Church Road in the hamlet of Boston. The lands are approximately 0.62 acres and are occupied by a single detached dwelling. They are designated hamlet and zoned hamlet residential. This application will facilitate a 2-story ADU with a garage located on the bottom story, and included as attachment 1 are the building elevation drawings of the proposed ADU. The northwestern corner of the parcel intersects with the Grand River Conservation Authority area's regulatory area. They've submitted a comment included as attachment 2 indicating no objection to the concept of the application per section 3.1 of the provincial policy statement. In terms of policy, section 1.1.4 of the BPS provides guidance on rural areas and municipalities, highlighting viable rural areas should be building upon rural character and leveraging rural amenities and assets and accommodating an appropriate range and mix of housing. And similarly, section 6.6 of the official plan provides guidance for hamlet areas. So highlighting limited growth, the support of rural character, and noting limited growth will be permitted provided it's not detrimental to that rural character. The subject application in terms of zoning, so there's the height and the usable floor area. All other key provisions affecting ADUs, such as interior, side, or rear yard setback, or the occupation of the required front yard are being met, which in my opinion suggests the neighboring sightlines and surrounding rural residential character is relatively maintained. So it's my opinion the proposal meets the intent of the provincial policy statement and official plan, and the relief requested for usable floor area and height can be understood as minor and desirable for the location for the range of reasons outlined in greater detail in my report. So with that noted, it's my opinion the application meets the 4 tests of a minor variance, and I'm recommending it for approval. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there an agent or applicant present? Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the planner? Does the applicant have anything to add? Nothing to add. Thank you very much. Does the committee have any questions of the applicant? Is there anybody present or online that wishes to speak to this application? Hearing none, the committee wishes are?
I'll move to approve.
Phil moves to approve. Seconded?
I'll second.
Tim seconds. Thank you. File number AMPL 2023-327 in the name of Donald Hauko. In accordance with section 45(1) of the Planning Act, the requested relief is considered appropriate for the proposed development, minor in nature, maintains the general intent of the official plan and the zoning bylaw, and that no public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All those in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. Okay, and lastly, file number ANPL 2023-340 in the name of Darlene and Dave Vanderpool. And the planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, an application has been received to renovate an existing vacation home, requiring relief of 5.7% from the maximum permitted lot coverage of 15% to permit a total lot coverage of 20.7%, 4.87 meters from the minimum required exterior side yard setback of 6 meters to permit an exterior side yard setback of 1.13 meters, and 0.35 meters from the maximum permitted height of 9.1 meters to permit a total height of 9.45 meters. The subject lands are located on the west side of Ordnance Ave within the resort residential zone and designation of Turkey Point. The lot has a frontage of 14.8 meters onto Ordnance Ave and backs onto the waterway. The lot has a depth of 70 meters and a lot area of 1,260 square meters. The lot has a current lot coverage of 17.1% for the vacation home and 14.5% for the accessory building. And these overages had been approved under a previous minor variance ANPL 2022-029. The subject application is to facilitate the rebuilding of an existing non-complying vacation home on lands designated resort residential. It's staff's opinion the proposed application would meet the intent of the Planning Act, the PPS, and the official plan. The relief sought, Relief is sought for 4.87 meters in exterior side yard setback to allow an exterior side yard setback of 1.13 meters, and relief of 5.7 in lot coverage to allow a lot coverage of 20.7. And relief is also sought for the total height. As noted, the existing side yard setback is only 1.13 meters existing, legally non-conforming, and the site has an existing legally non-conforming lot coverage of 17.1%. As such, the requested relief in both exterior side yard setback, which would involve no change from existing, and the lot coverage, as well as additional height, is considered to be relatively minor. And it has been determined that the lot coverage, height, and exterior yard setback meet the overall intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw, and this file is recommended for approval. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there an agent or applicant online or present?
Yes, online, Drew Fallowfield, Gerard Engineering, agent applicant on behalf of the owners.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of the committee to the planner? Does the agent have anything to add?
Not at this time.
Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the agent? Is there anyone present or online that wishes to speak to this application? Hearing none, what are the wishes of the committee?
Lisa moves to approve.
Lisa moves to approve. Thank you.
I'll second.
Bill seconds. So file number AMPL 2023-340, Darlene and Dave Vanderpool. In accordance with section 45(1) of the Planning Act, the requested relief is considered appropriate for the proposed development, minor in nature, and maintains the general intent of the official plan and the zoning bylaw. No public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. Is there any other business? Hearing none, can I get a motion to adjourn? Tim. And seconded by Bill. All in favor? We are adjourned at 6:14. Thank you very much. See you next month, committee.